It's been a part of the evolution of ego is to spend your first half of your life acquiring and adding, thinking you can add to yourself, and it looks great. I mean, it looks great when you got a cool car and you got good, nice clothes, and you know, and you've done something that people admire, you know, but it can never fulfill you. You can never be happy. You know what I mean? It's not where happiness comes from.
If there's anybody in the Bible who understands vanity, who's an expert in vanities, it is King Solomon. And he talks about it a lot in the book of Ecclesiastes. In fact, let's just go there real quickly. Now, Solomon teaches us about vanities. If you're there in Ecclesiastes 2, look at verse 1. Notice what the Bible says. He says, I said in mine heart, go to now and I will prove thee with myrrh. Therefore enjoy pleasure, and behold, this also is, Ecclesiastes chapter 2, verse 1. Notice the last verse, the last word in the verse. This also is vanity. If you read the book of Ecclesiastes, you're reading a book by a man, an old man, who has basically wasted his life. He says over and over in this book, you know, vanity of vanities, all is vanity under the sun. And God is telling us, and by the way, Solomon was saved. He was a Christian, and he was a very wise man. You could take his counsel, he just didn't take his own counsel. And he tells us, you know, what he did with his life, and he talks about the self-life.
I believe that I had to become a famous, you know, idea.
Yeah.
And get all the stuff that people dream about, and accomplish a bunch of things that you know, that look like success.
The life that pursues self, that pursues vanity, that pursues what I want. Notice what he says, Ecclesiastes 2, verse 1. I said in my heart, go to now, and I will prove thee with myrrh. See, different people pursue different things. The self-life may have different motivations. Some people pursue happiness. He says, I will prove thee with myrrh. The word myrrh means happiness, joyfulness. Therefore, enjoy pleasure. And behold, this also is vanity. Verse 2, I said of laughter, it is mad, and of myrrh, what doeth it? I wish I could tell you about conversation after conversation that I've had with people over the last 8 years of ministry. And they maybe used different wording and there was different things, but it basically came down to this. I know what the Bible says, but don't I have a right to be happy? Well, I know what the Bible says about marriage and that it's supposed to be a covenant forever, but and that, you know, I'm committing adultery if I divorce and get remarried. But don't I have a right to be happy? It's the American dream, isn't it? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But Solomon tells us that there are some people who pursue happiness. Myrrh, pleasure, laughter, vanity. Other people, they don't pursue happiness. You know what they pursue? Alcohol and drugs. Look at verse 3. I sought in mine heart to give myself unto wine. And you say wine, alcohol, drugs, all the same thing. There are other people who seek after possessions. Look at verse 4. I made me great works. I builded me houses. I planted me vineyards. I made me gardens and orchards, and I planted trees in them of all kinds of fruit. I made me pools of water, and waters therewith the wood that bringeth forth trees. Notice verse 7. I got me servants and maidens, and had servants born in mine house. Also I had great possessions, and great and small cattle, above all that were in Jerusalem before me. He says, look, I pursued happiness, and I pursued alcohol, and I pursued possessions. Houses and gardens and vineyards and trees and servants and maidens. I pursued all of it. In verse 8, he tells us that he pursued after money. Some people pursue money. Verse 8, I gathered me also silver and gold, and the peculiar treasures of kings and of the provinces. At the end of verse 8 there, he tells us that he pursued entertainment. Notice what he says. I got me men singers and women singers and the delights of the songs of men as musical instruments and that all of the sorts. He said, you know, some people, they're pursuing entertainment. Others are pursuing possessions. Others are pursuing money. Others are pursuing happiness. Some people are just pursuing success.
It's not Jim Carrey who can walk down the street just you know, doing anything he wants to and get away with it because nobody knows you. You know, after a while, hopefully it'll be to the point where I can't walk out in the street. Won't that be fun? where it'll be impossible to walk anywhere without being recognized.
So I was great and increased more than all that were before me in Jerusalem. Also, my wisdom remained in me. This is the one that pastors often, pastors fall themselves into all these categories. But something that pastors have to guard themselves is to guard themselves against the motivation. What is your motivation? Is my motivation to pastor the largest church in Sacramento so that I can be successful? Or is it to do the will of God? And here he says, I was great and increased more than all that were before me. And look, and we could go through the whole book of Ecclesiastes. He pursued women, had 700 wives, 300 concubines. He pursued wisdom, and he pursued education. In Ecclesiastes, he basically pursues everything that anybody could pursue. This one man pursued everything and anything that the world would tell you would bring you happiness. Notice verse 10. And whatsoever mine eye desired, I kept not from them. Doesn't that sound like a great life in the flesh? Doesn't it just sound like a wonderful life? If you had the money and the ability, the freedom to do whatever you want, that's what Solomon said. He said, whatsoever mine eye desired, I kept not from them. He said, there was nothing I saw that I told myself no to. You say, well, how did it end up for Solomon? Well, it ended up for Solomon like it ends up for most of, the rock stars and most of the movie stars and most of the rich and famous people in this world. Look at verse 17. Therefore, I hated life.
I don't exist. So they're all characters that I played, including Jim Carrey, including any of those things. They're all characters.
Don't miss that. Pastor Jimenez, I'm pursuing money. You're going to hate your life. I'm just pursuing entertainment. You'll hate your life. I just want to be happy. Don't I have a right to be happy? You will hate your life. You say, why? Because they're lying vanities. They deceive you. They tell you they will make you happy, but all they do is make you hate your life. He says, therefore I hated life, because the work that is wrought under the sun is grievous unto me, for all is... And by the way, Ecclesiastes is song. We're now with Solomon in the belly of the whale. And the belly of his whale looks like an old man that had every advantage in life and wasted it. And he says, for all is vanity.
Somewhere in the middle of absolute confusion, absolute disappointment, absolute the fruition of all of my dreams, standing there with everything anybody else had ever dreamed about having, and be unhappy.